Hey everybody, I wanted to celebrate getting a brand new placemat, so you have something a little more interesting to look at than my boring hands, by putting together a video on the top valuable commons. I paused there because I don't want to say, highest monetary value, but I think I get this question a lot when folks find collections and they find the rares and they're like, okay, what else is valuable? So I want to put together a little collection here, and I tried really hard to make this a diverse list. I will say that it skews heavily towards the episode 1 cards. So if you're going through a huge box of cards, episode 1 stuff in general is the valuable commons and uncommons. There are a few exceptions, and I'll try to cover those in this video, but by and large, the episode 1 stuff is the most valuable stuff. So let's start off in our last plate. Oh crap, here comes my cat. And we're back. So in our first slot, and these are roughly ranked, is Prepared Defenses and Heading to the Medical Frigate from Death Star 2. These are not more than a dollar, maybe $2 cards, but every single deck runs these because of what they do. So they allow you to start with 3 effects. So these are just 2 cards that if you're trying to build decks, you're gonna need 1 for each deck. And accordingly, it can be kind of hard to track down several of these if you're building, 3 or 4 light side, dark side decks. So this is sort of the first one I wanted to have on the list, just as maybe if you're going through a huge collection to pick these out. So I'm gonna put these up here. Next, I wanted to grab something from Premiere. So next we have the Corellian Corvette and the Imperial class Star Destroyer. I just grabbed white border cards. This was not an intentional thing. These are just the easiest ones I could find. These are not incredibly valuable, but maybe a couple dollars. So if you're just going through a collection, there's also one called a Victory class Star Destroyer that is probably a couple bucks. So just these might be 2 to kind of grab. And they're also iconic, both of them. If you find the foil versions, you really have some good stuff. These 2, the next 2, Insurrection and Imperial Arrest Order. So these allowed you to grab docking bays and essentially became quintessential in the tutor function, so that allows you to grab stuff from your deck. So once again, these are probably all under $2 to $3. All the cards shown here are probably under $2 to $3, $4, but these are 2 to maybe grab. They're both from Endor, so I have like the dark side and the light side one. They do the same thing. There's just 2 versions of it. It's mirrored like many of the cards. All right, now we're getting into a little more pricey territory. We have the Battle Droid Blaster Rifle. So you'll see this is a Destiny 6, and this is just such a damn powerful card. Even still today, because everybody runs the effect that gives blasters +2 or +4, I can't remember, but an additional Battle Destiny number here. So these are just still a powerful card. So I think these go for, $5, $6 because you need to have 10 of them maybe in a deck. And so they are common, but it's from Coruscant. But this is gonna start sort of the heavy skew towards the episode 1 cards. And why are episode 1 cards valuable? Because they are underprinted, and also there's a level of power creep that was sort of happening. Another thing to discuss is as cards are virtualized, some of the images there are used to make a card different. So that could be a reason why. So this is one of the last ones I could kind of think of that is valuable from a not episode 1, which is Tatooine, Coruscant, and Theed Palace. So this is an AT-AT cannon from Hoth. This is just a pretty good card. Still can run it in some decks. Put it on an AT-AT and you can shoot some rebels. This goes for, $6 to $7 or something. Next is the Wisa Gada Grand Army. This was, I think this is kind of a silly card, but a lot of folks run, 5 or 6 of them because you can grab Boss Nass's Chambers, which allows you to get additional force generation. And so a lot of decks will run a bunch of these, and accordingly, it's in high demand. So this was also from Theed Palace, so it was sort of underprinted. So here's another one. Once again from Coruscant. You'll sort of see a trend here, and I really didn't want this just to be every card from Coruscant, but the Pneumonia Advisor, this is one that in this order is probably, you know, $6, $7. You know, I'm actually not really sure why this one is, to be honest, but it's a little pricey. So keeping going here, we have Tatooine. So this is the light side Tatooine from Coruscant. And this is creeping up there. And once again, I'm not quite sure why exactly some of these things don't make sense. I think with the episode 1, we've talked about this before, they were just sort of underprinted. So there's just not as much out there as other sets, whereas, you know, the traditional wisdom with other CCGs doesn't hold that, you know, you think the older sets are more valuable. With dead CCGs, it's usually the newer sets because of, you know, the amount printed or short print runs. So next up we have Darkseid Naboo. So Darkseid Naboo is needed for every single deck that uses the objective called Invasion. So this was an uncommon in Coruscant. I mean, just being about Coruscant, a Coruscant uncommon common set goes for like $150 on its own. So if you find your stuff and you have a bunch of Theed Palace and Coruscant, good for you, because that's where a lot of the value is. So you need this to run Invasion, which is a really fun battle droid objective where you're trying to grab Naboo. All right, next up, these two are kind of competing for 1 and 2, but we have this random Jedi kid Adi Mundi. He was an uncommon, which I think that this was a good thing to have some of these useful, although he's not actually that useful, but some of these better, you know, semi-main characters, not just be rares. I think it's better for players, but he's an uncommon. He goes for maybe 10 to 12 bucks. I think there's an entire, you know, as the game has continued to be played, I think there's a Jedi Master meta that he is seen in. All right, and our final card, I think folks that play the game know what this is going to be. This is Laser Cannon Battery. So this is just such a powerful card. You can deploy it on a capital ship. It's a weapon. Basically, you know, not only can you use additional force to make it easier to hit a target, but also they lose 1 force if you hit it. It can deploy as a react. There's no deploy cost. Destiny 4. This is just a great card, and accordingly, it's, you know, $15 to $20. So this is from Coruscant. It's an uncommon. You know, in some of the Coruscant packs, if you pull this is probably better than many of the rares. So this is just a quick overview of some valuable cards you might find in your, you know, pile of uncommons and commons. There's obviously a whole bunch more that I didn't cover. I want to do future videos about, you know, some of the uncommons that might have changed the game, thinking Sense and Alter or some of the insert stuff, but I figured this was a good starting point, and if folks like talking about commons and uncommons, I'm happy to do it again. So thanks everybody, and have a good rest of your day.